Life has many disappointments, but nothing disappoints more than bad sequels, like Clan Wars 2 and Clash Royale, or Promised Neverland Season 2. Bad sequels do nothing but piss off the original fans and give mediocre content to new fans, and these new fans will forget and move on from the franchise in a few weeks. And I hate to say it, but Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2 has joined the club of bad sequels. Now, before the hardcore fans come at me and say, hey, at least we got a second season, it's not even that bad. I agree with you, but there are some major problems with this season. I think if you hear me out, you'll eventually agree with me too. Also, while we're here, please subscribe because my ratio is abysmal. But it's not as abysmal as my disappointment with this second season of Devil is a Part-Timer. And for those who haven't seen the first season, stop this video right now and go watch it because it is iconic and one of the most well-known anime within the community. But for those who haven't seen it, it's about this demon king who gets isekai'd into Earth and ends up having to make a living working at McDonald's, which is basically the McDonald's of this world, but you know, copyright reasons. And while working, he and his friends have to figure out how to survive in this new world and avoid getting into fights with the hero, who also got isekai'd with them. And now this show doesn't sound like anything groundbreaking or anything new, but keep in mind that it came out in 2013, so it was kind of groundbreaking before the isekai boom. But even if you watch this show after the isekai boom, where now we get multiple isekais every season, it still holds up really well to have been made in 2013, because I watched it in 2020, and it was and still is one of the best comedy anime I've ever seen, because season 1 generally had me laughing every episode. The comedy just felt real and authentic, because the author created an entertaining set of characters that gave way to an interesting dynamic, which led to some hilarious gags. It was one of the first anime that I watched, and it just left such a solid impression on me. So when I heard they were making a second season after nearly a decade, I was hyped, because first off, second seasons are already rare enough in anime, but a second season after a decade is practically unheard of. Because of the lack of second seasons, the hype was sky high. The thing is though, I haven't heard a peep from anyone about this anime since it began airing. Like, it is the most popular anime listed this season on Mal, yet there has been barely a whisper of this anime within the community. And I can give you a 2-word explanation for this. It's mid. And I mean this in the most respectful way possible, because honestly, ain't nothing wrong with it. The story is okay, if convoluted a little bit. The animation, not great, but I've seen worse. And the characters are okay. So if everything is okay, then why am I talking about it? Well, I really feel like this show was the most disappointed I've been about an anime in a long time. My expectations were high, and after watching the first 7 episodes of this anime, I have to say this is one of the most 6 out of 10 shows I've ever seen. It really feels like the same exact bullshit isekai anime we get every season, with uninspired animation, boring dialogue. The show just feels lifeless and bland. And as I was watching, I couldn't help but think, maybe I just changed and grown as a person in these past 2 years. Maybe I turned cynical when it came to anime and comedy. So I decided to revisit the first season. And wow, is it so much better than the second season. I don't know if it's due to the source material or just the animation studio, but the jokes actually hit and the characters feel so much more lifelike. The story in the second season doesn't lend itself to the same type of humor that the first season had. The first season focused on the dynamic between the hero and the Demon King, and the antics that revolved around them within the normal human world. The second season decides to add in a new character called Alice Ramos, who is the child of the Demon King. I won't get into details of how that works, it doesn't really matter. But the addition of this new character and the dynamic between the characters all change for the worse. And the anime turns into less of a gag comedy with a slightly progressive story to a progressive story anime with some humor. And it does not do the second very well, because there are very few jokes that actually land, and it's hard to tell if they're even joking. It's just they go through this convoluted story through most of the episodes, and without doing any extra kind of research or anything like that, it's hard to really know what is going on. And like, this isn't the worst sin within anime. There's plenty of convoluted stories within anime that end up turning out to be okay, but then they end up having to get carried by their character interactions or their animation. And this show has neither of them. And now there ain't nothing wrong with the second season, and if you're looking for a chill isekai show to watch one afternoon, I'd recommend it. But if you've seen the first season, I would say keep your expectations in check, because it is not nearly as good, but it's worth your time if you're bored. I hope y'all enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. I post by every 2 weeks. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.